My friends, I want to start by asking you a question. How many of you have dreams, ambitions, goals that you've been carrying around for a long time but haven't yet taken that crucial first step towards? You're not alone. In fact, I'd wager that virtually all of us have something that we desperately want to achieve, some profound change we crave for our lives, but we hesitate to take action for a myriad of reasons. Perhaps we're paralyzed by fear of failure, worried that our efforts won't amount to anything, so why even bother trying? Maybe it's a lack of self-confidence, that nagging internal voice whispering, "Who are you to think you can accomplish something that big?" Or it could simply be that inertia, that human tendency to avoid disrupting the status quo, even when we know deep down that the status quo isn't serving us. It's just easier to stay put, isn't it? But my friends, in yielding to those forces of hesitation, doubt, and inaction, we pay a devastating price. We surrender our lives to a slow rot of regret. We watch our dreams wither on the vine while our ambition turns to bitter resignation. With every passing day, every week, month, and year that we fail to take that critical first step, the inevitable happens. We become smaller versions of the people we were truly meant to be. The blazing fire within us dims until it's barely smoldering embers, barely able to warm our increasingly shrunken souls. Does that seem like an overly dramatic assessment? I don't think so, because I've witnessed it play out in the lives of so many people around me. Bright-eyed, fiery spirits entering adulthood, burning with passion and grandiose ambitions. But over time, that spark gets smothered by complacency, by a warped perception that playing it safe and settling is an acceptable way to live. And bit by bit, year after year, their lives shrink, their aspiration receding like a beach withering away from the rising tide of regret as opportunities missed turn into tombstones marking the death of unfulfilled dreams. My friends, that is not the life that any of us truly want or deserve. Our dreams are not meant to collect dust on a shelf. Our ambitions and grand visions for our lives were bestowed upon us for a reason, to serve as catalysts for us to grow into the fullest embodiment of our potential as human beings. So how do we break free from that insidious gravity of inertia? How do we work up the courage to finally take that critical first step, no matter how small or incremental, towards actualizing our greatest ambitions? The first thing we must do is identify and extinguish those pernicious limiting beliefs that lurk in the shadows of our minds, breeding fear, doubt, and procrastination. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Anytime you sense that inner whisper urging you to play it safe, rig from risk, avoid discomfort or change because it might upset the apple cart, that is a limiting belief shackling you to mediocrity. That is the psychological cage trapping the greatness within you. Don't listen to it, my friends. Don't indulge that self-sabotaging voice for even a second. Counter it with this empowering truth every single time that you are far more capable than you currently believe. We all are. Within each and every one of us lies a vast reserve of power, talent, creativity, drive, and resourcefulness that goes almost entirely untapped throughout our lives because we succumb to the insidious lie that we are ordinary and destined for ordinary, uninspiring existence. That is the great tragedy of the human condition, that we suffer under a psychological delusion of limitation which causes us to avoid challenging ourselves, and as a result, we live far beneath our ultimate potential. So the antidote, the key to taking that first step, is to begin reprogramming your mindset through the power of affirmation. Start speaking insistently to yourself in words of blazing self-confidence like, "I am extraordinary," or "I am more powerful than I realize," or my personal favorite, "My potential is unlimited." Drill these affirmations into your psyche repeatedly, relentlessly. Keep echoing them mentally until those limiting doubts begin to shrink in comparison and wither away. Because those limits only have as much power over you as you allow them to have. Let me ask you a question. If you woke up tomorrow with a literally unlimited reserve of confidence in yourself, courage to shake off fear, and faith that you could not possibly fail at whatever you set out to accomplish, what would be the very first step you would take? Got that image clearly in mind? Good, because that is now your mission. That first footstep towards your greatest ambition, whatever it is. This is where everything starts. Now don't get me wrong, that initial leap is never easy. It may feel like trying to push a mountain at first. Your self-doubt is likely going to rear its head and try to talk you out of it, to convince you to retreat to your comfort zone. But I'm telling you, the only way to develop an ironclad sense of unshakable self-confidence is to do the very thing you're afraid of, to charge headlong into that which makes you feel uncertain or scared. By taking that first step towards actualizing your ambitions despite your fear, you start proving to yourself that you possess far more power than you realized. It's like putting a small crack in the psychological glass ceiling above you. And with each successive first step, each small win or achievement under your belt, that crack grows wider and more of your true human potentiality starts shining through uninhibited. This is how we begin training the mind to establish powerful new habits, by making the conscious choice to take one small action that makes us a little bit uncomfortable, but also fills us with a sense of pride for rising to meet that challenge. You see, establishing habits is truly the real key to profound personal transformation and growth. It's not about trying to make mind-bogglingly huge overnight shifts in our behavior or achievement levels. That's a recipe for failure, because we'll inevitably get intimidated and retreat before we even start. But building habits, that's the ultimate key to harnessing the incredible power of incremental change over time until you wake up one day and look at yourself in the mirror to find that you've become an entirely new person ready to conquer the world. The trick is to start with something deceptively small and manageable, but to commit to doing it consistently with no excuses or justifications for failure. It could be something as simple as doing 10 push-ups and 10 bodyweight squats daily without missing a single day. That seems easy enough at first, but doing anything consistently is always harder than we assume it's going to be. And the process of fighting through those urges to skip a day, the feelings of impatience for faster results, the minor aches and discomforts, every time you resist those temptations to cut corners or give in, you are flexing your willpower muscles a little bit stronger. And crucially, every time you successfully show up and complete that small task, no matter how small or insignificant it may seem on the surface, you are also feeding yourself confidence and resolve. Those small wins start sending a powerful message to your subconscious that says, hey, I'm tougher and more capable than I've been giving myself credit for. Now here's where it gets really powerful. As your consistent daily commitment to tiny incremental habits starts to stack up like paying into your personal growth investment account, things start happening in your brain on a psychological level. Because through the process of those small daily habits, you are actively rewiring your mindset by overriding and replacing your self-limiting doubts and fears with substantive proof that you absolutely can commit to new behaviors and follow through on achieving goals. This is the leverage that enables you to continually expand your aims and ambitions even higher. As you replace old habits with new patterns of behavior reinforced through countless small daily wins, those limiting beliefs that previously held you back start seeming less convincing. Where you once felt a sense of intimidation or fear when contemplating the pursuit of something bigger, more meaningful, you start getting curious about your potential instead. And that curiosity fuels audacity. After giving yourself enough evidence through the accumulation of small, consistent habits that prove your resolve and capabilities, you arrive at a point where your self-confidence starts becoming unshakable. You develop a sense of self-assurance that no matter how audacious a new goal or ambition feels, the only limits upon you are the ones you choose to place there. That, my friends, is where the magic begins, because unshakable confidence is the fuel that propels you past the gravitational pull of inertia, past everyone else's limiting expectations, directly into the rarefied territory where all the great human achievements take place. When was the last time you marveled at all the incredible innovations, triumphs of art, brilliant ideas, or once-in-a-generation accomplishments in any facet of human civilization? I'm willing to bet that every single one of those boundary-shattering moments originated from a person who found the courage to take that first step beyond the boundaries of perceived limitations. And I'll let you in on a little secret. While talent and ability are certainly factors, they pale in comparison to the real key ingredients. An unwavering sense of self-belief combined with the will to sacrifice and persevere through the inevitable challenges. Talent is essentially frozen potential if it isn't catalyzed by that deeper self-confidence and willingness to endure difficulty and discomfort to make progress when into the goals. A goal that seems crazy big at first. I hate to burst anyone's bubble, but the harsh truth is that nothing worthwhile is easily attainable in this life. All the goals and dreams that would make your soul sing with fulfillment, those take tremendous grit and perseverance to obtain. There will always be gatekeepers, naysayers, obstacles, failures, and setbacks standing between you and whatever lofty aim you set for yourself. That's an inevitability, which is precisely why developing that unshakable inner resolve through daily habits and small wins is so crucial. Here's the reality. Everything looks like a terrifying, insurmountable wall at first glance. But when you take that first small step with faith that you'll find the wherewithal to keep placing one foot in front of the other, that's when the path starts to reveal itself incrementally. Every major life-altering accomplishment of note, whether starting a successful business, writing a legendary novel, or ascending to the peak of any other enormously challenging human endeavor, each of those seemingly gigantic feats began with a single tiny step into the unknown before the path revealed itself. And those who reach those summits all share one thing in common. They develop the heart of a mountain climber, which is to say they harness the willpower to persevere through hardship and never surrendered to the temptation of quitting when the going got tough. Listen, I'm certainly not telling you this to discourage your big dreams. Not at all. My aim is to reframe how you approach the pursuit of your loftiest ambitions by emphasizing a truth: that those who plant their feet firmly down and steadily persist through adversity while refusing to abandon their quest for excellence are the ones who will ultimately prevail. And this takes sacrifice, my friends. It's a willingness to exchange short-term comforts for the potential of long-term fulfillment. It means turning down that second dessert or beer with friends because you're deeply committed to your health, fitness, or diet goals. It means kissing away precious evenings or weekend relaxation time because you believe so fiercely in the mission of growing your business or side hustle enough to eventually quit your 9-to-5 job. It means missing out on trivial daily distractions and dopamine loops because you caught a vision for a grander purpose beyond the shallow instant gratification that consumes so many people in our current culture. This level of sacrifice and perseverance never feels comfortable or easy. Your fears, doubts, and the siren song, the path of least resistance, will continually try to derail you through temptation and perceived justifications for quitting or slacking off. In fact, I'll take it a step further. You will find yourself face to face with moments when the rational, logical move is to abandon your ambitions and retreat to the cozy confines of your comfort zone because the hardship just feels utterly overwhelming in the midst of it. That is the true make or break moment for anyone pursuing a dream bigger than themselves. That is the fork in the road where you must choose between your limiting beliefs and fears or the deeper wisdom that your discomfort is simply the catalyst for growth. In those moments when the siren call to escape back to your cozy existence grows loud enough to drown out your vibrations, consciously shift your focus to everything you have overcome and achieved through your habits and small wins up to that point. Remind yourself I am tougher than I give myself credit for. I have proved my resolve in these small ways, which means I have what it takes to persist through this larger challenge as well. And if you absolutely commit, if you steel your mind with affirmations of your inner power and treat temporary discomfort as a small price to pay for achieving your grandest ambitions, then no obstacle becomes insurmountable. No brick wall hemming you in from your dreams is too high for you to eventually scale. One solid foothold and handhold at a time until you conquer the summit through sheer grit and perseverance. You see, this life will constantly try to convince you to play it small and safe. Everywhere you look, there are psychological traps laid to steer you towards inertia and mediocrity. The cozy allure of Netflix binge watching, the tantalizing distractions of social media and digital addictions, the seductive pull of short-term pleasures that provide fleeting hits of dopamine. And if you aren't vigilantly attuned to rising above those gravitational forces, they will drain you of ambition as swiftly and inexorably as a receding tide. Before you realize what's happening, your biggest goals and wildest dreams will have shriveled into regrets as you watch your best years steadily dwindle away until eventually you look back with bitter resignation. That, my friends, is not the legacy any of us want when our lives draw to a close. Each of us carries an instinctive desire to make our mark on the world in some profoundly positive way before our light flickers out. We all feel that gnawing hunger to rise up and be more, do more, create more than just sleepwalking through life towards the grave. Greatness calls to each of us, beckoning to unleash the fullest amplitude of our gifts, talents, and highest potential. Every fiber of your being intuitively knows that you were put on this earth for something far grander than simply enduring an endless string of tiny, forgettable days leading to an utterly inconsequential existence of quiet desperation. So fan that inner fire, my friends. Stoke that intense yearning for achieving something wildly extraordinary with your one radically precious life. And then take that first step down the path that could lead to heights grander and more exhilarating than your current imagination can conceive. Listen, no great legend worth being told ever began with someone languishing in fear. No, all the stories we tell of human beings achieving their fullest potential start with that first tentative yet audacious step into the unknown. armed only with a fierce commitment to persevere past every obstacle until their loftiest ambitions were realized. It is that very courage, that bold willingness to test the limits of our potential, which separates the heroes whose names we celebrate from the nameless masses who accepted life's cruelest limitation, dying with their greatest gifts, purpose and dreams left unrealized. Which legacy would you prefer for yourself? I stared both destinies in the face, and there is no question which path I would rather be traveling when my time in this life draws to an end. Because let me assure you, nothing quite compares with that sense of profound peace and wholeness that comes from knowing you emptied the vessel of your being, that you dug into the depths of your willpower and explored every hidden crevice of your potential as a human soul. To know beyond any shadow of a doubt that you left every single ounce of effort on the field in pursuit of your grandest ambitions, that you never held back and gave every dream a fair shot at becoming real. That is the key to living life with zero regrets. Sure, you might experience failures and setbacks aplenty on the way, but those are merely refining fires that forge your resolve and make your eventual successes that much sweeter. You only truly lose the game of life when you fail to play at all, when you let your unrealized potential wither on the vine. Realizing your highest vision for your time on this earth demands constantly aiming higher and being willing to expand your comfort zone, precisely because continual growth is the price of admission to living with intention and purpose. Once you summon the courage to take those initial steps beyond what feels safe, something remarkable begins happening in your life. You start attracting allies, teachers, mentors, and role models who've also decided to play a bigger game. Inspiration starts surrounding and immersing you as people who've also discovered their internal fierceness provide external fuel for your inner fire. You become exponentially charged with motivation as you start witnessing how others took the same risks you're grappling with and made their visions a concrete reality through faith and bold action. So let those beacons of inspiration light your path, my friends. Draw strength from the living embodiment of what persistence in pursuing lofty ambitions can produce in terms of empowerment, liberation, passion-fueled living, and the self-actualization that comes from unearthing your boundless capabilities. But also look within at every win, every challenge you've already overcome through your daily habits, every small mountain climbed through simple consistency, and find the confidence there to keep pushing against your perceived limitations. That's ultimately where the power to take that first step and start your own legendary, trailblazing journey resides. In your willingness to back yourself to believe more fiercely in your immense potential than the doubts and fears trying to keep you treading water in mediocrity. Each one of us, through disciplined daily habits, can become mountain movers. We all possess the ability to take command of our lives, shatter self-imposed limitations, and expand into new stratospheres of personal power, fulfillment, and achievement. All it takes is igniting that spark of courage, harnessing the confidence that your potential is unlimited once you declare your freedom from self-doubt, and then taking that first audacious step that proves beyond any uncertainty that the only walls hemming you in are made of gossamer self-limiting beliefs. So go ahead, my friends, make today the day you stop living as bystanders, meekly hoping life will get better. Take the ultimate risk of backing yourself fully. Get that fire raging so intensely within you that any dream suddenly seems attainable. And then take that crucial first step towards making it a reality. Don't think or plan or ponder, just move boldly forward, committing to the mindset that your boldness of spirit will reveal the path before you step by step as long as you refuse to give up or retreat. Because once you start climbing, the compounding momentum of your expanding self-belief combined with your unshakable habits of perseverance in the face of all obstacles and adversity will propel you to outrageous newfound altitudes. Nothing can stop you from actualizing your highest vision for a life lived to its fullest potential. Just commit to constant forward progress, even if it's 1 inch at a time. Stay ferociously devoted to consistent daily habits that stretch your abilities. Find inspiration everywhere to keep stoking that eternal flame of ambition burning within you. And before you know it, my friends, you will wake up one day astounded to realize how far you've come through the sheer audacious power of consistent action and steadfast perseverance. What once felt like a terrifying gargantuan undertaking now lies behind you, a glorious trail of growth and profound personal triumphs humbly achieved step by step. And at that moment, you'll shake your head in disbelief at the regret you once felt over delaying your bravery and finally taking that initial leap into the unknown towards your grandest ambitions. Because there is no force in this universe that can withstand the tidal wave of progress unleashed by the human spirit once we declare our sovereignty from limiting beliefs and commit to harnesses our unlimited potential through daily action, no matter how small. My friends, I'm not here to simply motivate you with fanciful platitudes that will fade before your next meal. I am imploring you to live your most authentic, most fully actualized, and unapologetically great existence. Make no mistake, this calling will require discomfort and sacrifice beyond what you can currently imagine. It will demand that you summon unfathomable levels of self-belief, perseverance in the face of adversity, and the willingness to stride boldly through your biggest fears into the rarefied realms of infinite possibility. It will, in no uncertain terms, require you to change, to let go of all the habitual patterns, limiting beliefs, and toxic narratives that kept you tethered to mediocrity and inertia for far too long. For that is the unavoidable price of awakening to your true nature as an extraordinary being of limitless potential. And all it requires, the only thing separating you from your destiny as the visionary hero whose actualized legacy inspires others to rise to their own greatness. All it requires is the courage to plant your foot firmly down and take the first step into the journey of becoming unbound. That is the gauntlet I humbly issue to each and every one of you listening to my words today. To become so ferocious in your pursuit of your highest vision that failure is not an option, only a refining fire to stoke your grit and determination even further. Shine your light brilliantly into the shadows of self-doubt and limiting fears. Write your legend boldly into existence, starting right now by taking that one critical first step, no matter how small, no matter how unsure you feel. As long as you commit to showing up each day and proving your resolve through consistent forward progress, just like climbing step by grueling step up a sheer mountainside, you absolutely cannot be stopped from ultimately reaching those rarefied summits only glimpsed through the eyes of your wildest ambitions. So let's declare this day as the rebirth of our grandest, bravest selves. Through our unstoppable commitment to habits of self-belief, habitual practices of grit and perseverance, and the willingness to be lifelong students of inspiration, we will each become unstoppable forces of nature, manifesting our true potential into empowered lives of ultimate significance and fulfillment. All it requires is planting your foot firmly into the unknown, fiercely trusting that courageous first step will reveal the next foothold in your ascent. Keep climbing with relentless passion and faith, and before you know it, you'll be gazing back in awe at the breathtaking vistas and sweeping panoramic view of all you've overcome and achieved by daring to take that very first audacious leap into uncertainty and limitless possibility. So rise up, my friends. Rise up today and declare that your dreams shall no longer go unrealized. Your potential will be actualized. Your legacy demands nothing less than the heights of your unshakable resolve and pursuit. Push yourself to take the first step, because that one act of defiant boldness in the face of all limiting belief will become the hinge upon which the gateways to your grandest ambitions, your extraordinary innate greatness, swings open at last. Take that first step with me today, and let's start climbing together to outrageous new elevations of self-actualized achievement that will cement our footprints in eternity.